The more the merrier.
Exactly. Hello and welcome to Required Reading, the podcast that revisits the most impactful books from our childhood. I'm your host, Erin Bowles. I'm a writer, actor, and comedian. Oh my gosh, we've got one of my favorite people in the world on today! We met each other in Welcome to Flatch. You know him from 100 different titles on Broadway, from Mean Girls, from Water for Elephants, for the show about Sondheim that I've been struggling to remember the title for days. It's Kyle Selig!
Just for your reference, it's called Old Friends, which is how I feel about
Okay.
you. Old friends.
Wow.
Aaron, we're so old. What
We've known each
happened?
other for 6 years, and that
I
hurts my
know.
head.
Like a blip, just gone. 6 years. Ugh,
Ugh.
what
Wow.
a time. This
What
is
a
so
time.
fun. Thanks for having me to your closet here to do your little podcast.
I am recording in my closet. Oh my gosh! We are talking about because we've been trying to get you on the show for a minute, and when you said, let's do this, let's do the Hardy Boys, I was like, of course you are. Of course you want to do
Yeah. Why do you
it.
say that? Why? Why?
Because no, this was my first time reading Hardy Boys, so this was before I had cracked the book open.
Oh, wow.
And in my mind, it's this like pluck and this like, let's do it, let's help out our neighbor. And I think like, I think and also like several Flatch cast members really like to riff you about just being like the most wholesome, sweethearted, like American boy apple pie. And so I
Yeah,
think
that
that
guilty. I guess me choosing this is kind of right on track. Oops, even more than I thought. Well, I will say the thing that I'll say about Flatch is such a fun show to work on, but such a difficult time where
oh my
that
God.
cast, we all needed as much pick me up. I think I was forced into that role because everybody needed as much bolstering as possible. It was
That's
like the
true.
butthole of COVID. We were in North Carolina. Things were crazy, and we were trying to make this comedy, and it was
Yeah.
just so. I mean, I had a great time, but it was not the easiest thing, I will say.
No, you're 100% right because we shot that first season November 2020 to February 2021. And then the second season was like the summer of 22. And I think we both had this thing where like our roles were pretty small. We were coming and going a lot where everyone else was like there 24/7.
Yeah.
And our jobs became like, yes, I need to know my lines, but I also like need to be there for people and be like, "Hey, buddy, it's
Yeah,
okay." Definitely.
totally.
And like, but the second season was such a bummer because like our episodes didn't overlap.
I know you went
Sure.
into like really being Shrub's girlfriend, and I went into really being a father again because Nadine was pregnant again.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I know.
separate corners, but man, were the sets fun. I know it was crazy. You and I really were like the traveling ones. Like I think about
Yeah.
like the day that Broadway shut down, I was on a plane back and forth
Oh
from
yeah.
our table read. Were you there? Did you go to the ghost tour?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
tell the story. I
Yeah.
know that I'm the guest on this podcast, but tell this story because it's so
No,
good.
yeah, there was so the Flatch was we were going to in March of 2020 shoot the pilot like a normal TV show would, and then day 1 of production started at like 8 or 9 in the morning. I wasn't on set because I had like one scene in the pilot. But by like noon that day, Trump was like, the whole country's shutting down. So I was in a pool with Holmes and Sam and I think Taylor. And Taylor got a call and was like, oh, I have to go to set right now. Actually, I have to go right now. And the fun, like, behind the curtain thing is that the show was sold on the 14 minutes of footage that was shot that day.
So
But yeah,
cool.
there was like no urgency before that because we thought this was just going to be a normal thing. So we did go on a ghost tour of Wilmington, North Carolina, downtown. The guy was great. I remember there was some story about teeth, like finding teeth everywhere, and I was mostly just like, I'm talking about ghosts with Aya Cash. I've wanted to meet her. She's so cool. And I was really hung up
Yeah.
on that. And I was also just like, this place keeps saying it's the most haunted city in America. It doesn't have shit on Savannah, Georgia, which is
Oh,
where I went
right.
to
You
college.
shared this with me that Savannah is super, super haunted.
Most haunted city in America. But a lot of people say that. Like a lot of
You
cities
know,
claim
how do you
that.
qualify it? How do you like,
How do you measure?
where's the authority that's actually cracking down on this? It's like, not quite. That's Savannah. Is it you?
Well, yeah, I don't know. I don't care. It's also like my mom's hometown says it's the quilt capital of the world. I think St. Louis has a much better claim to that than
Are
Paducah,
there a lot of
Kentucky.
towns really fighting for that honor?
More than you'd
I'm the
expect,
quilt capital
apparently.
of the world. Yeah, for
They've got
quilters.
to have something.
Oh
They
boy, here
need
come the
something.
quilters in the comments. They're gonna roast me.
It's just my cousins. Yeah. Oh well.
They all have the last name Bowles.
Well, this
Ah,
week
so
we're
fun.
doing
We
book
can do this.
two.
Right, should we talk about the Hardy Boys?
Maybe.
Oh,
But the
segue,
thing is, I
ghosts.
just want to talk about Flatch.
Ghosts.
Yeah. But ghosts! You're right! We're doing book two of The Hardy Boys from 1927, written by the ghostwriter, the pseudonym Frank W. Dixon. The Hardy Boys is about two brothers in their late teens with a detective for a father who just want to keep their little town safe.
Yeah, well,
And
they're smugglers and they're mysterious drug runners and
they're and the house on the cliff in this installment, this is book two, is housing, yeah, drug smugglers.
yeah, never mentioned like which drug.
No,
It's all very aloof about
yeah,
which drug they're smuggling. It could be any.
exactly. It could be any, and it's also like 1927. What are we thinking are drugs? Because I feel like at that point the threshold is like anything is just
Yeah, like it could
necessary.
be aspirin. Like it
Yeah.
could be like to be honest, it's probably the old reefer. It's probably that,
Mm.
which is really funny and
Yeah.
paints in a whole different picture. Like these smugglers are actually just really mellow and they're just chilling out and they're in their spooky haunted house and walking down their caves and stuff, driving their boats. It definitely paints it with a different flavor if you think about it like that.
But it was so fun. I like never read any of these, never read Nancy and Drew. We must. I've been meaning
Wait,
to
you
do
never
Nancy and
read
Drew.
Nancy Drew?
No.
See, I didn't either, but
Yeah.
that to gender it all very much, like the Hardy Boys is definitely. I wonder which came first, Nancy Drew or the Hardy Boys.
Hardy Boys, but
It
I think
did.
only by a little bit. Yeah, I think the Hardy
Yeah.
Boys were like immediately popular, and they're like, what I learned is that like the creation of these books were a very like money making venture,
Oh
where
my
they're
gosh, yeah.
very much like how do we make as much money off of children as possible, and so I think these were immediately popular, and then they're like, well, we got to get girls, and so came Nancy
Exactly.
Drew.
Nancy Drew is the girl response. Because you read these Hardy Boys books, there's not a girl in sight. There's like 40 boys. They all have different
Yeah,
standard boy names. Cliff and Stan and
and Chet and Biff. Yeah.
Chet and Bit. I know it's so good.
The tone of these is so odd because it is like let's run face first into the danger, into the people who are going to do ill, and we're also saying gosh and golly, and we're also like there's this anytime there is an issue, they're like let's make sure we clean it up so no one else has to deal with this
Totally.
stick in the road again afterwards. It's like so wholesome with also like very real danger, I guess.
Yeah. Well, and I was reading up on this a little bit, and I think it's interesting to think about like in 27, these were considered like really rebellious. Like
Yeah.
librarians hated them. It was like, and you think about it, like a bunch of boys got a hold of these books and started like breaking into their neighbors' houses and stuff, trying to solve mysteries. Like this was a rabble rouser sort of
Yeah.
thing. And then there's the 1954 Innocent Seduction of the Innocent Act, and like
Hmm.
comic books got burned, all these things, and they went back, all 30 of these ghostwriters, and rewrote a bunch of stuff. So I think that's where you start to get all the gosh golly and
Yeah.
like it's this like very dangerous environment.
Yeah.
These kids, by the way, the dad absolutely would have these kids taken away. He's like, hey, can you just go check out these smugglers? Like they're gone in a second. Child services is called.
Yeah.
Mixed in with this, gosh golly, and let's go grab a milkshake. And
Yeah. It's very like never having read the Archie comics, it's very much that mental image of like Jughead and Archie and this sort of like real wholesomeness with also like like you were saying, they were hit sellers, but parents didn't like them because they were rebellious. And there's so much interesting stuff that you can read about. Like, I don't know how well you can find like the original 20s versions of these
Oh,
books.
apparently
Yeah,
they're really rare and they're now
exactly.
like very valuable.
Yeah,
Collectors are making these things.
exactly, because when they got banned, the like create, because there's not really an author, there's like the ghostwriters, and then there's this guy Edward Stratemeyer who created them and then packaged them, and he really like revolutionized literature in the way that you sell it and things like that. And he's like, yeah, ban them all you want. If they're not in the libraries, people have to buy them. Do it.
Yeah, do
Like,
it. Dare you.
I could bring it on.
Gosh, golly.
Exactly. And the guy who wrote a lot of them was this Canadian guy named Leslie McFarlane. And he hated them. He hated these books, but it was a paycheck. Like, his family kept getting bigger and they were easy. And he's a newspaper writer, and a single one of these pays like 2 months salary for what a
Yeah.
newspaper writer earns. And he's like, we just keep hacking having kids, so I guess I have to do it. And I think they were also like, you have to stop making these, like, the Stratemeyer family kept being like, you're making the cops look too stupid, like you have to have them be more respectful and like stand up. So it's interesting how this thing that like is so, I think, mocked now for its like wholesomeness was kind of radical, or it like always had this tension within it.
Totally. I mean, but that's kind of everything now, you know? Like I don't
Yeah.
know what cartoons or whatever you were watching growing up, but I was a Nickelodeon kid,
Hmm.
and so it's very, very funny to think about that even when that started, that was counterculture.
Yeah.
That like Nickelodeon was the spicy cartoons that you could
Exactly.
watch. And you look back on it now, I'm like, SpongeBob was spicy. It was so like so tame and silly. But like everything in retrospect is like I imagine these kids on TikTok now, one
Yeah.
day they'll feel like, oh, we are just scrolling TikTok. That's
Yeah.
all we're doing.
And it like I was trying to remember if this had actually happened or if I had like fever dreamed it, but I feel like so easily you can put like get it like book, you know, The Elysian or something for a night and just get 10 actors to just read this aloud. And it will be a smash hit. And I feel like someone must have done that. But it's just like, and I think a lot of like the disjointedness is because at one point they're like, take out everything that is not constant action. Like, attention spans are getting shorter. We want to start marketing this towards younger and younger kids. And that was definitely something I noticed is like, this is just calamity after calamity.
Yeah, you're like, are these kids okay? This is really crazy. And I think what I kind of love about reading them now
Mhm.
is how much free reign these boys are
Oh my
given.
god,
Because
yeah.
like I don't know. I don't know how you feel, but like, that's how I was raised. It was
Yeah.
like, get out there. Go ride your bike. Just be back when it's dark
Yeah.
or call before it
Yeah.
gets. And very similarly, like these Hardy Boys, I grew up in this neighborhood of like 12 little boys. We would walk around in packs and like ride our bikes, and they all had pegs on the back, so we'd be riding each other's. But like it was like a little innocent little biker gang
Oh my
thing.
gosh.
And like, yeah, we got into trouble all the time. It was awesome.
Wait, because you also grew up by the coast. These guys are like in a fictional town vaguely outside Massachusetts. But now that I'm actually thinking about it, you're here in SoCal. Oh my
Yeah,
goodness.
I'm in
Okay, talk
Huntington
more
Beach.
just about like how did Hardy Boys impact your day-to-day life? Were you out there on your little bike with
Oh
your
yeah, I
telescope?
what's funny is I remember reading it. Number two, the reason I picked this one,
Yes,
it's
please.
kind of the only one I remember, which is really kind of strange. I remember it was like the books I had on my shelf were these and those like the white ones, the illustrated like
The great
vintage
American class,
classic.
the great illustrated classics.
Yes, 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 yes,
Yes.
yes. It was like
Yes.
all these blue ones and then all these white ones right next to it. And then the yellow ones were the Nancy Drew, and I didn't do any of
You
those.
didn't read them?
I didn't have them. But I remember reading like this one for whatever reason stuck in my mind. I remember the ghost bit of being like, "Ooh, it's a haunted house." I remember the smugglers, and I remember as a kid like being outsized worried about smugglers. Like that's not a thing that
Yeah.
kids were like worried about in 1990s. But I was like, oh, you never know, the smugglers.
And you're living on the, yeah, valid,
Right, and I'm
actually.
living on the coast. I mean, I don't think
Valid.
there's a lot of the Huntington is not like a big port town necessarily, but we had beaches. People had boats. My grandpa had a boat. So yeah, it was all kind of tied in this loose fever dream of Hardy Boys mixed with my 90s childhood.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, I was definitely like in the era of it, like I think my childhood would have resembled that more if my mom like was if I did not come from a family of nerds who were like you don't actually have to leave the house. Like it's okay if you're just sitting reading a book. Like it's totally just be like kind of quiet. It's totally fine.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I could have used a little more of that, probably. I had older siblings, so
Mhm.
yeah, my older brother was 10 years older than me, but he was kind of like the oldest of this little
Oh, that's kind
biker
of
gang.
nice.
And I was
Yeah.
not the youngest. There were a couple younger than me, but I was like solidly right in the middle. And yeah, it was the 90s, so we'd run around and like summer was about TPing each other's house and like every night. We actually we
Oh,
overdid.
every night.
Like we got a talking to. Like somebody's house got TP'd every single night from like June to August.
The budget.
I know the waste, the waste.
Oh my gosh. Wait, remind me how old you are because we're not that different in age.
Yeah, I'm 34 this year,
34. Okay.
coming up
What's the
almost
math
30.
on that? Okay, 6 years. Okay.
Yeah,
That's
where are
more than I
you?
thought. I'm 28. I'm
Oh
28.
wow.
But the Hardy Boys, I guess.
Yeah. Right, right, the Hardy Boys. Anyway, yeah, we were talking about childhood.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I was running around with these like 12 friends of mine. We were getting into trouble, and it's funny because I think a lot of them, we grow up, and I think a lot of them, like at a certain point, I started doing theater, and it
Mm.
sort of took me out of all the trouble that they.
Hooligans?
And when you get older, the trouble gets a little realer,
Yeah.
more colorful, a little more interesting. And I just kind of swerved the other way, where I was like, I'm in a theater all the time. I'm like learning songs. I'm at
Yeah.
rehearsal, and it kept me a very good boy, I thought.
Yeah.
So,
There's such an odd moment at the end of this book where they catch the bad guy and he goes on a little diatribe about his past and he's like, I got put in with the wrong crowd, and if I had just someone had someone to steer me the right way, and I want
yeah,
all of my smuggling money, and or no, I want this house on the cliff, the titular, to become like a home for troubled boys.
yeah, yeah.
And
Way, way ahead of the time. The male loneliness epidemic, just
it,
way ahead of its time.
there's some really interesting articles that I did not read but bookmarked about like examining American masculinity through the lens of the Hardy Boys. Because I think the most interesting aspect is this dad who is this incredible, like, he's the detective, he is revered, his like reputation precedes himself, and yet and you know this better than I do, it seems like he spends a lot of the series in peril, in being unable to solve things and needing his kids to help him. I mean, in this book he's tied up and he's starving and they need to carry him up the stairs and feed him, so you're
Wait,
able.
that is the
Yes.
best part when they're like,
Yes.
"Wait, I have a candy bar. Eat
Yes.
it."
I
And
just
you
have.
watch him like a video game where he's just like, and he like
And his
gets
little health
energy
is going
again.
up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, it's funny. I mean, it is a device of the books to like, if he was really, really good at being a detective all the time, the boys would have nothing to do. And
Yeah.
it is focused on them. And I think it's even funny the way that there's a blonde Hardy Boy and
Yes.
a brown-haired Hardy Boy. Like it's
Yeah.
very specific. It's like you will see yourself
Yes.
in these characters. And like to your point, kind of interesting to see this father figure just constantly failing
Yeah.
and you having to step into those shoes. And you think about the time, 27,
Hmm.
in between world wars. So my grandpa was born in 31.
Yeah.
I'm talking about him a lot these days
Yeah.
on this thing. And it's really, really interesting. He had like a very tricky upbringing.
Yeah.
And a lot of it did not include his father
Yeah.
and any kind of father figure. And I think that's probably true of a lot of these folks
Yeah.
whose
My grandpa. Yeah.
story World War One and then did not come back or did not
Hmm.
come back okay. So
Yeah.
these father figures failing and having to step into their shoes and finish what they started, you read that as a young man leading up into World War II, and you kind of see why those dudes are built the way they are.
Yeah, something I saw that it's like a reason that these are successful is it's this continuation of this idea of that anxieties, whatever they may be, are conquerable. That like goodness can win in the end, which I think maybe we kind of take it for granted, you know? It's that like to grow up in the 20s, like you said, and I mean, this is 27. In just a couple of years, it's going to be some of the most uncertain times the country has ever seen in the Depression. So, like, to have this model where, like, things work out is such a huge comfort. And it's like, and I think throughout all of the kids' books that I've looked at, anything that says that, like, you, a kid who is the most vulnerable, who's the most powerless, has the ability to succeed and to know things that adults don't, that sometimes adults are wrong. I mean, at the end of this book, two of the friends run to the Coast Guard, and the Coast Guard is like, whoa, this is a huge break in the case. Do you guys want to tag along while we
Hey, you want
catch
to
one of these
come?
guys? Do you want to? You can just come on the boat. Why not?
What
And
could go wrong?
exactly,
Yeah.
and they start shooting, and they're like, just get down, and you'll be fine.
So, yeah, so intense, so exactly like not how that would go down. And yet, how do we tell that story? How do they catch them if there's no boys there?
Exactly. Also, I think like I always have to correct myself and be like, stop reading this like with the intention of trying to pick it apart because I am like, oh, like the police detective and all of these people are like, okay, well you're this detective's son, so you could get away with it, and like all of this, like, oh, how much malpractice can happen here? Because the boys are just like, well, I know it's him, and they have no evidence, nothing but a gut
Yeah, yeah,
feeling,
yeah.
and yet, fine, you know, that's
Yeah,
not what it's about.
sure. For like a kid's mystery, for sure. But
Yeah.
then you imagine all these boys, like I said, reading these books in the 20s and going and stirring shit up in their neighborhoods with no evidence at all of just like these gut feelings, like, no, my neighbor's up to thing. I like this is very much who I was as a kid,
Mhm.
probably why I'm an actor, but I was whatever like media I was into, I was that person.
Yeah.
Like I was Aragorn for a very significant amount of time.
Hell yeah.
I was James Bond for a while. Like, and I imagine if I was filling myself with Hardy Boys, I'm going around and I'm trying to solve the mystery of my neighbor's missing bike and
Yeah.
things like that. Like, I would just start shit for no reason.
Yeah.
You start to see why like these librarians were like, "Hey, maybe can we get these off our shelves, please?"
Yeah. Well, and it's I was actually a couple months ago. Josh Corey, do you remember from
Yeah,
Flatch, one of the
sure.
writers, was on, and he spent I don't remember what show, but he and Kratz were writing for kids shows for a while, and there are these very strict rules about like what you cannot do anything that could be imitable that kids could then go do, and it would be
Correct.
dangerous. So it is kind of buck wild to see this where they are like every time there is danger, every time someone is like, oh, that's a bad idea, they're like, let's go in, let's go straight into the house, let's do
Yeah.
it.
Which is like, I don't know. There's this phrase that I've heard recently and I think about it a lot, is that I think right now our sort of culture is that we kind of overprotect
Mm,
kids in real life and kind of underprotect them digitally,
yeah.
right?
Hmm.
Like the real danger right now, I think, is on our phones and is online. And like, I don't know, you read this and I get a little nostalgic for like the periods of time
Stranger
where it
danger.
was like, or just like a stranger danger, but also like not having a phone, not like spending time looking around at all the other things. It was literally just what was in front of me that was
Hmm.
to focus on.
Yeah. There's like a tactility almost
Yeah.
that feels very gone.
I haven't read like the later
Mhm.
books, but they don't age, do they? They just kind of stay in this permanent high
Oh, the
school.
boys? Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't think so. Because these like the Hardy Boys books, there are like 109 of them. But yeah, and I think like the something I also saw in reading about it is like there besides the hair color, there are no character traits to these boys. And I think that's on purpose for a lot of different reasons. But like you said, you're either a brunette boy or a blonde boy reading this, so you're like, that's the one I am, and here we go.
Yeah,
It's kind of like
totally.
the blankness of it makes it easy to really put yourself in it there. Yeah.
Right. And then like, you have the guest stars where it's like, oh, the rich kid with the boat and like the kid who likes to eat, which is
Yeah.
so like
The fat
again
kid
that
who's
modern
always worried. Yeah.
and just like, oh, maybe we should stop and have a slice of lemon meringue. Like
Exactly.
it's so it's so it's hard to read modern wise, but you're like, right, what they were doing was building this tapestry of male friendship, that there's
Yeah.
this kid and there's this kid, and only together can we use all our resources to solve a mystery or have,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
I think a sentiment is really, really nice. Do I need all the fat shaming? No, probably not.
Yeah.
But, I like stories these days that point to community and point
Yeah.
to the answer is finding the solution outside of
Yeah.
yourself with other people. And so for
Yeah.
that reason, I'm like, yeah, Hardy Boys for sure.
Yeah. There's a lot to unpack there. There's one thing that I read that was like the brothers do not fight with each other. They are always on the same side,
Oh,
which
that's
I think is interesting. And so with this big revision, like there were a lot of people of color who were then removed in the 50s
Mhm.
because they're trying to, remove all of these racial stereotypes, even to the point where like parents were writing in saying this is problematic. And so instead of like fixing those, they just took them all out and made it real white. But there was something interesting because throughout all of these books that I've been reading, like the fatness is the thing that really doesn't age well more than anything else. What's interesting though with this character of Chet, who is the fat scaredy cat, he's also at one point he's like, well, good thing I was just fixing up my car and I have all of these tools on me. And there's a beautiful moment at the end where he's like, yeah, I'm scared, but I'm gonna do this because we need to save your dad. And I got started and I'm gonna keep doing it. And I was like, that was an incredible moment. I did not anticipate that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and it's interesting. I wonder in the Hardy Boys formula, do the Hardy Boys themselves ever get scared?
Well, they're definitely scared here, but I think it's mostly like about their dad, right? It's
Totally. It's
like,
like they right, right. They approach fear, but it's mostly it's like, are they ever scared for their own personal well-being?
yeah,
Like
I
it
don't
seems
know.
like
It's
kind of
always
no.
like I think it's that thing of like fear is conquerable, which I think is
Right.
huge. Like in a like you were saying, and such because any time is uncertain. Like the 1920s were uncertain, these 20s are uncertain. So to have characters who are able to say like, yeah, this is scary, but I'm gonna power through it. I think that is a huge thing, both as like an incentive as a reader, but also like a validation, I guess, as a reader.
Yeah,
It's like a lesson to instruct and to validate, I think, which
right.
is huge.
Kind of wild we're talking about this thing that is almost exactly 100 years old.
Hmm. Yeah.
And just how different things were. Like,
Yeah.
and I think about this too, like this was popular right when comic books were also like on their way.
Mhm.
Like they were just beginning. But this is like one step above comic
Yeah.
book. You know what I mean? You can read this in an afternoon, but there's a little more juice in there
Yeah.
than what these comic books are.
And there's a moment, and this is just an example of what happens often is like they're at this house, they think initially it's haunted, and then they find out later there's like actually a guy in it. And like their telescope lenses are stolen and something else is stolen, and they're like, okay, let's just lay down on the ground and chat about it for a while. Like, let's just stay in the danger for a minute. And it's not like there's a narrative lesson happening. It's just like, okay, fellas, let's figure this out. Throughout it, it just felt very Scooby-Doo to me, which is mostly like Scooby-Doo is probably Hardy Boys. Like, I'm
That's
getting
probably
the
true.
timeline
Yeah, yeah.
wrong. But I just enjoyed it of this idea of like, well, we can do it and we can figure it out. And that's, yeah, very validating.
Yeah, like okay, it's been 100 years. What is the thing where kids are all running around solving mysteries? I mean, like we just kind of saw Stranger Things.
Yeah.
That even gets a little like horror
Yeah.
based. Where are the mystery
Is it
shows?
Paw Patrol?
I don't know. I don't.
I
Have
don't
you
know.
watched Paw
I'm not
Patrol?
gonna commit. I've never seen
Like,
Paw
do you have a
Patrol.
kid that I don't know about? Yeah, why don't you
No.
watch Paw Patrol?
No, I have a child friend who's almost 2, and she has no screen time. All we watch is a VHS of Yoga Kids, which I had when I was young. Did you have the VHS
Yoga?
of Yoga Kids?
You bet I didn't.
Oh,
Yoga kids?
yeah. It's like a half-hour VHS, and I did not bring this to this child. This child independently. This is like a very good friend's daughter. I don't like independently know this child, but yeah, it's like a 30-minute VHS that I think was made by like some teacher outside of maybe Chicago. That's just like her and 10 kids doing yoga, and
Wow.
it's so chill. There's a
Wow.
dog.
I mean, there's a lot to unpack there. I no, this was not on my radar as a kid.
Oh,
I was not invested in yoga. Still am not, to be
well.
honest. Are you a yoga person now? Was it formative?
No, I mean, no, I don't. And it's also like, well,
No,
I
I
mean,
rejected it.
my mom, my mom had some health stuff happen when I was born, but like she also had like yoga DVDs and VHSs. I don't think she ever did them. I don't really recall that.
Yeah, I mean that was the era. Man, we're actually it's funny because we're here to talk about the Hardy Boys in the 20s, but really like all it's bringing
Yeah.
forward is from the 90s, which is awesome.
I
And
mean,
it
that's like the only
so
frame of reference. Yeah.
I think what was also funny about me reading this and why I chose the second one, I accidentally, and this happened several times. I don't know, I was probably just like kind of clueless or whatever, but it happened with several different series where I would read the second book first. Like I fully read
Yeah.
Chamber of Secrets before I knew there was
Oops.
Sorcerer's Stone. Which, like, by the way, is totally fine.
Yeah.
You can make that work because the whole first like 5, 6 pages is kind of just recap
Yeah.
what happened last episode.
Exactly. Which actually, because you were saying that, and I was like, well, with the Hardy Boys, like, it doesn't really matter. Like, you don't really need to
No,
know. But
there's no
there,
origin story at all. There's like it does not
yeah,
see like what Bayshore is. It does not like his their dad is a detective. That's all you know, and they talk
exactly.
cases with him. You even like you read the first couple pages, and they're like, "Hey, Dad, what's going on with this case?" And he's
Yeah,
just like, "Well,
exactly.
there's a
They're really
smuggler,
just plopping down.
and
But
I've
there's,
got a guy." Can we talk about the pretzel guy?
please, let's talk about Pretzel
It's
Pete.
like to me, this is like the perfect
I
small
can't believe I
town mystery
forgot
device.
about
Oh,
Pretzel
it
Pete.
stands out because everything else is like kind of weird and dark
Yeah.
and like very serious, and they're like shooting guns, and there's smugglers, and
Grenades.
and then
Yes.
there's just this whimsical pretzel man who has all the information. And it's just like this underground syndicate. They go to the pretzel man to get all the information.
The man on the inside is a man named Pretzel Pete. Yeah.
Poopy.
I
Which
have to,
like
yes.
where is the spin-off series for Pretzel Pete?
I have to find the chapter named Pretzel Pete. Here it is. Chapter 5. I've munched on so many of the pretzels he sells. I think I'm his best customer. That's not it. But
Excellent.
yeah, because they first go to their mom and they are kind of just lying to their mom about, like, don't worry, mother, it's all okay. There's even a moment where it's like, he may not be a dangerous criminal. He may have just fallen into bad company and unwittingly became an accessory in some holdup or burglary.
Yeah. It's so empathetic. It's
It
so,
is.
we're teaching empathy. You have to solve mysteries, but also understand why the mysteries were committed in the first place.
The best way to avoid such a situation is never to get in it.
Oh,
Thanks, Dad.
oh wait, I was just reading about this.
Yes.
They changed. So like one of the things they changed
Yeah.
is like, right, we've talked about this. They were very rebellious and all that. And then in the 60s, they started making them more like what we understand them to be, sort of patriotic and all
Yeah.
American. And one of the things they changed was like, boys, we're going international. Are your passports up to date? I'm like, you bet they always are. Like it's so it's so just down your throat, USA propaganda. It's so great.
Incredible. Oh, well, I can't find the description of Pretzel Pete. We'll just have to live with it.
I'm just
But
gonna pull to it
yeah,
on stage and just pull a quote.
I shall do the same thing.
Oh, here's a great plot device in
Yes.
this book. When they see their dad's bloody hat
The
on
bloody
the
hat.
peg, and they're like, "That's my hat," and it's like, "Why is it bloody?" He's like, "It's not. It's whatever."
Yeah.
So murky. Oh, another appearance of a woman. There's a lady smuggler,
Yes, yes, there's a
which was
woman.
exciting.
Something I loved is that the smugglers kidnap the dad and they make him send a note to the wife to be like, "Don't worry about me, I'm fine." But he doesn't include the secret symbol that Mrs. and
Right.
Mr. Hardy put at the end of every letter in case of times just like this.
Right. That we have not been introduced to until it
Hey.
was conveniently presented for us.
And she is like, "Well, maybe he just forgot the secret symbol, but
Probably not.
hmm."
He's been missing for 4 days. Maybe we
Yes.
should go look for him.
Is the
Yeah.
quote I opened to. Mrs. Hardy was accustomed to her husband's comings and goings at odd hours in connection with his profession, and she had learned not to ask questions.
Nice. Very, very 1950s coded.
Yeah, but here, your father and I have an agreement. Whenever he writes me, he puts a secret sign beneath his signature. But it is so fascinating that this series that is 100 years old speaks to so many different eras because it was so successful that it had to sort of change and adapt to
Like
each
that. Right,
one.
right.
Yeah.
Right. And it's, sort of presented, here's what our American focus is at all
Yeah.
times. Here it's the family. Here it's the chutzpah. Here it's get in there, face danger, overcome things. Here's the quote I turned
Yeah.
to. You're gonna like it. The very first line of a chapter called Hostages. It reads, lithe as Indians, the three Hardys hurried across the lawn and disappeared among the trees. I just like the wordage. Lithe
Yeah.
as Indians.
I think as time passed, they had to like dumb down the vocabulary a little bit. So I'm glad that that stuck.
Yeah,
Here,
I'm glad that's not
yeah,
one they changed, even though
I
they
did find the first because the chapter called Pretzel Pete he does not appear in. They're just discussing him. But I found the first visual introduction. Here comes our man. Strolling toward them and hawking the product he had for sale came a comical looking individual. He wore a white cotton suit with a very loose fitting coat. Around his neck was a vivid red silk handkerchief embroidered with anchors. His trousers had been narrowed at the cuff with bicycle clips to keep them from trailing on the ground, with the result that there was a continuous series of wrinkles from the edges of his coat to his ankles. The man wore a white hat which came down to his ears. On the wide brown band, the name Pretzel Pete was embroidered in white letters. "Boy, that's some gear," Frank murmured.
Okay, by the way, this is more description than we've gotten for any other character in the entire series.
I mean, it's an ebook, so you can adjust the size, but this is a page, a whole
Yeah,
page introducing
like
Pretzel Pete.
why?
Do you know if
You
he's
get
in
the
any
feeling?
other
I
books?
get the
Do you
feeling this is
recall?
really. Oh, sorry. Wait,
Do you
say
know
it.
if he's in any other books? Do you remember?
Oh,
Because I feel
I'm.
like no.
He has to be, right?
I don't know.
I mean, again, like this is the one that I remember. I
Yeah.
remember one with a plane also, but I don't remember. Like they're flying a plane. Like in what world? In what world are they
Well, it's
flying
also, planes are very new in the 20s, because in this they're also riding motorcycles with gigantic telescopes attached to the
Yeah, it
back.
was
That
it
is the
was
opening.
another boy thing. The gear mentioned in these things, the boats, the telescopes, biplanes, I guess.
Hmm.
Like it's all very, very geared towards we want boys to read this, which is
Yeah.
funny because like I don't know, is there any other book series that is specifically like, oh no, these are for boys?
I
I
don't
feel like I
know.
feel like girls have like a ton of these things. We're going to be super gendered, but like
No, I know what
yeah,
you mean because I think I think probably the Hardy Boys like played a big role in it in sort of setting that. I feel like the idea is sort of that like books are for boys and then we have to supplement it girl books. But it's sort of like every like boys are the default. So like you
yeah,
don't
yeah.
need a boy Treasure Island because Treasure Island is boys, but you do need like a girl Treasure Island. Like I just did Island of Blue Dolphins and it was described as
Oh,
Girl
so
Robinson
good.
Crusoe because
Oh my
I
God,
think
we
it's
all
like
had to read that book.
yeah. Well, actually, and this is something we discussed, I didn't because I didn't grow up in California.
Oh, that's like a California specific. education book.
Yeah, because it takes place just outside of LA. It takes
Right.
place
And
in an
like,
island outside of LA. Yeah.
is it albacore? I remember there's a little
No, it's
abalone.
San Nicolas.
Or like what's the thing in the shell they're always eating?
Oh, yeah, it's something. It might be albacore or something like that.
Albacore. That is
Abalone.
genuinely the only thing I remember from that thing. All my memories of books are all very food based. You know,
Well,
Pretzel Pete and
although
albacore.
when they're describing Pretzel Pete, he's obviously carrying pretzels, and he's got sticks with like dozens of pretzels on each one, and all I could think of, going back to Nickelodeon, and maybe this was the 6 year age difference. Do you remember the guy in iCarly who had the bagels, but they were on the stick in the wrong way? Do you have
I
any
have
idea
to
what I'm
say,
saying?
iCarly wasn't
Yes.
wasn't the big one for me on
That's
Nickelodeon.
the age difference.
Age
Like,
difference, but also probably a bit of a gender difference there too.
absolutely, 100%.
I'm not saying it's right, but I'm saying
No,
I was
exactly.
definitely susceptible to gender things. I was Ed and Eddie was huge for me.
See, I did
Again, like
not.
these stupid boys in a neighborhood starting businesses. I was big on like starting businesses as a kid. We had
Wow.
lemonade stands and
Man, you and my
selling
boyfriend need to
everything.
link up. My boyfriend is still on let's start a business every
He's still
day. He
doing
really
lemonade
do.
stands. It's if you can, it's niche. If you can
Yeah.
get into it, you never get out.
But no,
Uh,
I was the same way of like if there was not a girl, I did not care. And I think that's kids. Like you're
yeah.
very myopic because that's all you have.
Well, it's also it's kind of like kid narcissism. We've sort of talked about it.
100%.
Like, oh, that one looks like me.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like, not to oh, look at me, but like reading Harry Potter, I remember being like, I'm enjoying this, and then Cedric Diggory popped up, and I was like, oh, there's my man. You know what I mean? I was like, now I get it. Which also to this day, number four is still, I think, the best one. It's so
No, it is. It is. I agree. And for a long time, number four was my favorite movie because I thought they had the best hair. And I say that to anyone, and they're like, "Aaron, that's
the
the
long.
worst hair."
Wait, I think there's literally clips of Dan Radcliffe talking about how like he showed up on set that summer and they told him like, "Don't cut your hair, we'll cut it when we get there." And
Yeah,
then he just never cut his hair. And he was
never
like, "Are
cut
we
it.
gonna? I look
Yeah.
crazy." Like even he knew at that age that that was the worst hair. That's really funny.
But like you were saying, like I did not. My dad tried to read me the Harry Potter books, and I was not having it. And then I saw the first movie, and I mean, I have a photo somewhere. I looked exactly like little Emma Watson with the big
Yeah.
frizz. And so then I was like, oh, now I care. Like now I will get into it and invest. And I was Hermione so many years for Halloween. And it was mostly, it was
Yeah,
the frizz, it was being the boss, it was being really bookish, it was telling other people you're stupid. Yeah, of course I invested into that. Of course I
totally.
did.
Totally. Yeah,
But,
it's so it's funny to be like, and then I saw the first movie. I remember going, I think I skipped school. I think my mom took me to school to go see the first Harry Potter movie, which is funny because I don't, I was raised in a pretty Christian household. I think there was a time where I was not allowed to read Harry Potter. Do you remember that era where it was
oh yeah,
like, no, they're
oh yeah.
witchy. You're not allowed to read them.
A
And
hundred
then it's
percent,
funny to think
yeah.
back on that now.
But yeah, it was sort of like so weird to be like, God, they're like talking about chocolate frogs. Like, it's really not that bad, guys.
Yeah, it's actually very silly. Well, until the fourth one, then kids start dying and stuff.
Exactly.
But.
Actually, because I want to talk about this because you're an actor. The father, I can't remember his name. I never can. But the man who plays Amos Diggory, Cedric Diggory's father, gives an incredible performance in that movie, and it
Oh,
feels so disjointed because he's like giving it 100%, and everyone else was like, "We're only giving 70% to this movie. Like, what are you doing?"
Erica and I say this to each other. We go, "My
My
boy!"
boy, my son, yes. And
It's like I had actually my hair's just raised thinking about
yes,
it. It's genuine. It's like it's that moment,
where
and I think
everything
that's why those
changes.
movies are so good.
Yeah,
All of those actors, like the adults, make those movies unbelievable. The kids are great, whatever. They're kids, but
the kid.
like
Yeah,
Alan Rickman
yes,
crushes it in that movie. Maggie
yeah,
Smith, like every single one is locking in so hard.
yeah.
It's so great.
Yes, I am getting very much into DVDs. This is my DVD closet. This
How do
is
you play them?
I got a DVD player, bro, for like $30 on Amazon. And now I need to buy a Blu-ray one because I can't watch Return to Oz because it's a Blu-ray.
So you went all the way to DVD. You need
Yeah.
to upgrade. Man,
Not Blu-ray. We're not millionaires
people are
here.
living in the 2000s. This is great. We're talking Hardy Boys. We're
Exactly.
talking, yeah, this is awesome.
But like finally watching Harry Potter again for the first time in like 5 years because J.K. Rowling is not earning money on me watching my 20-year-old DVD.
Yeah.
I was talking to a friend. It's like it feels like a cheat code. It feels like I'm getting away with something dirty. Like chemicals are going off in my brain that haven't in so long. Like every single day, even before watching it again, I can hear Richard Harris at the end of the first movie going, "Another year gone." Every day I'm thinking about it.
It's so good. You're just like injecting the magic into your life still. It's beautiful.
Ugh.
And they're like redoing it this year. Like, okay, here's a question, and we'll bring it back to Hardy
Yeah,
Boys. Do you think they will ever do like a real Hardy Boys series, film,
they
TV?
did in
I know they
2020
did.
on Hulu.
What do you mean?
Yeah,
Was it good?
it
I
did
didn't know this.
2 or 3 seasons. But yeah, it was so. I think it came out in like around the time we were shooting Flatch.
Wait, and
When
this isn't Dead Boy Detectives. That's a different.
no, this is Hardy Boys. This
Oh
is
wow.
has the name and the IP.
Was it like
Um,
CW?
it was Hulu.
Wow.
But I think it was like 2020s where media was so weird, so they're like, let's just dump stuff
Well,
that
and there
we
was so
yeah.
much, right?
Yes.
Like incredible that a Hardy Boys TV series that I'm on a podcast here to
Yeah.
talk about the Hardy Boys, and I had no idea.
There have been 6 Hardy Boys TV shows. I did look it up. Yeah.
Uh, I mean, there's a version that I think, I mean, this is where I just, it wouldn't be for kids probably, but there's
Yeah.
a version where you just do it word for word what happens in this book, and it's hilarious. Do
That's
you know
what
what I
I'm
mean?
saying.
Like
Yes.
that would be how I would want to do that.
And you were born to play a Hardy Boy.
Oh my gosh, just yeah, too old now. I'd be like, who's that tired high schooler?
That's the thing, like, I mean, I remember being like 14 and watching Teen Wolf and learning that one of like the love interests on that show was 35 and being affronted. And now I'm 28 and I'm like, please tell me I can still play 17. Please.
Have you identified, is there like, because honestly, that'd be so fun. I'd love
Yeah.
to be a pretty boy. Is there one of these for you in like literature that you're like, please, I want to play that role?
Oh, like specifically like a childhood book or just like a character that like one day I want to
Yes.
be. I don't know. I guess like maybe not. There's like I mean to be like an asshole. There's like some Shakespeare roles I would love to do one day.
Oh my God, no, that's not asshole at all. That's so cool. And it's so like,
That's
it's
such an
so
actor
rare
thing.
these days.
Yes.
That's actually what I'm doing today. I'm going down to San Diego to go see my friend at the Old Globe. Oh no, to Shakespeare. So, oh gosh, what a dream.
Yes. Oh my gosh. That was episode 100 of this show was the Shakespeare play Measure for Measure, which was
Yes, of course.
so
You'd be
playing
great in that.
Isabella. I would really, really love to do that one day. Thank you. Thank you for
Yeah,
saying that.
go ahead.
The secret point of the podcast is to just record people I love and respect telling me I'm good at
Just
acting.
gassing you up.
Exactly. I've
This
got
doesn't even go
Molly.
out. You just play this before you go to sleep.
Exactly. I need
Yeah.
to do a
Okay.
supercut. I have them all saved somewhere. Yeah, right at the
Well, if
top.
that's
Yeah.
true, then I think you're amazing. And this podcast is so fun. And thank you for having me on it. And
Is this you saying you need to go? Is this you winding down?
it is lightly saying I do have to
Okay. Okay.
go.
Well,
I do have
totally
to go.
valid. Respect it. I do you feel like there's anything that you know you wanted to touch on that we have not gotten to? I'm gonna flip through my notes so fast.
Mm, no, I mean, maybe, I don't know. Maybe we go into like just the ghost of it all a little bit.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I think part of what is so nostalgic about these is like back in the 90s, back in these things, it felt like you could walk around and you were actually solving mysteries. Like there were things that were unknown and you had to figure
Mm,
them out. And now we have these phones and we can just look up the answers to things. And there's like it just feels like there's less mystery to life
yeah.
in this era.
We are 100% living in the information age, and I think something that no one anticipated, that we'll lose something in that as well, in the addition to gaining so much, that like there's maybe like less, unless you were like actively pursuing it, there's a little bit less room for imagination in a world where information is so abundant.
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally. Yeah, like maybe that's my 2026 is
Yeah.
like knowing everything is out,
Throw the phone
mysteries,
in a river.
making up
Yeah.
mysteries to solve is in. Like
Yeah.
the Hardy Boys. I'm just gonna go run around and assume all my neighbors are up to some smuggling, and I'm gonna go solve some mysteries.
Exactly. And you know what? Why not? Well, in conclusion, final question. Would you
Oh, yeah.
consider it required reading?
I think at least one of them.
Hmm.
I'm not gonna say go and read all 150 and solve 500 mysteries. That's too much. But I think this is such a little time
Exactly.
capsule of, if you have a grandpa, like this is what he was reading, that I think there's a lot to learn from. And there are a lot of similarities to what is going on now, 100 years to 100 years ago. And I think, particularly if you're a young person,
Yeah.
I think reading this and realizing that like things are going to be kind of hard sometimes, and sometimes the answer is not just like, oh, I'm uncomfortable. It's
Yeah.
actually like, rub some dirt in it and keep
Exactly.
going.
I think it's interesting to get older and start to feel like even if you're not a parent, the parent come out in yourself and
Totally. I know.
like wanting to protect kids and be like, no, we can't let them read all this crazy stuff. I think it is nice to, especially if you are a kid, to have something that says like run towards the danger. I think if you have enough influences outside of that to be like, well, maybe not. But I think like to have something that says that is really interesting. And I think like just from an academic perspective, like you learn so much about culture by looking at this book and learning, like again, like I kind of want to do a lot more, maybe not reading this series, but research on this huge cultural impact that has been around for a century. Yeah.
Yeah. I think like the business of it too is
Yes.
that there is this collective of people who all kind of like hate writing these things,
Yes.
but do
This
it
is
for
like,
money. And
I saw something that compared Stratemeyer, who sort of runs the machine, to Rockefeller. And I'm like, he's not Rockefeller. He is Henry Ford. He
right.
has a full assembly line cranking these out. And like part of it, I found, and I won't go into it too much, but I found like a list of like, all of the books have to follow these rules of like be a certain length and like have cliffhangers and things like that. And they all have to, summarize the last book in the first page or something. And you have to have like at least 3 come out in the first year. And you have to have them like publish at a certain pace so that as soon as a kid finishes one, you're gonna have the next one ready. Because that was, I would have to say, I remember waiting for the 5th Harry Potter book very vividly to arrive. And that the Hardy Boys books and all of the books by Stratemeyer's company have to be 50 cents, where all of the other books that were being published for kids are 75 cents or $1.50.
Wow.
That I think is genius.
I mean, yeah, just lowballing.
Exactly.
That's great. Yeah,
Yeah.
you start to see some similarities between Stratomac, Snapman, their Muslim
Exactly.
kids.
Snapman the
Like,
villain. Wow.
just such a great villain name. We didn't talk about that, but
Well, is there
well.
anything you would like to plug where people can find you?
Oh, no, I'm always up to something. You can follow me on Instagram, Ka Selig. That's me. Yeah, there's always stuff.
Yeah, stay tuned.
Stay tuned. Particularly this spooky season, I think
Mm,
there's going to be some spooky stuff I'm up to with my
keep on.
newfound mystery solving
Yes.
person.
Stay tuned. Coming to Hulu, a new series, a Hardy Boy, new
Hardy,
Hardy's
the Hardy
Boys.
man. Just it's me.
Well, I end the show by reading the last sentence or paragraph or so of the book.
Love it.
Here we go.
I'll follow along.
That's right, said Frank. All together, fellows. A rousing cheer for Pretzel Pete. The end.
Wow.
Yeah.
I got chills. A rousing cheer for Pretzel Pete.
For Pretzel